Do you ever wonder how we ended up studying from home? It's because we're in middle of pandemic. That's why online learning is used mostly on all aspects now, especially in college students. Actually, online learning has been invented way before the COVID outbreak happened. So all of the system was changed into online, which is good for now, so we can slow down the COVID spread. So how all of this began? Well, I'm Afif Juniesar and I'm from General English Class A, and I will explain it to you which is the most effective learning system. Is it the online learning system or the offline system? Well, let's start from the first COVID outbreak. So apparently, where first reported case, officials say, happened in Wuhan City in China in late December 2019. Fast forward, the World Health Organization declared the outbreak as public emergency of international concern on 30 January 2020. This virus was later found in Indonesia at 2nd March 2020. Turns out it became an outbreak in Indonesia, which ended up with Delta variant right now that has been claimed a lot of life. So how does the COVID-19 affecting the educational system? To begin with, the government rushing to shifting the offline system into an online learning system, or also known as e-learning, and so with the working environment including the lecturer and the staff. This was stated around March 2020. Most of the students learn from university website and doing virtual meeting via Zoom, or even downloading some material online. Now the question is, did actually online learning effective rather than offline learning? Or shall we keep online learning system until the herd immunity target has been completed? Did the offline learning for college students cannot be possible happen? Well, here's the thing. Deciding between offline or online learning need big concern, because it was included a lot of people, including the lecturers, staff, and the community around it. We know that online learning has some flaw, but in the other hand, the offline learning is still unnecessary for the current situation. So this time, I'm going to tell you which one that I recommend and how we could ensure our safe precaution measure if something bad happen. Personally, I will prefer with the offline system, but I will tell you more why at the end of the video. I would like to decide that online learning system is the best at the current situation. Now, let me explain how both of these systems was look like in the practice. The offline learning usually goes like this. The college student enlisted at the university that they will prefer. After taking some tests and administration, the student then will choose the nearest dormitory with the campus or at the outer city for affordable cost. Next, they will break up to student orientation. Depending on the university, the orientation will be vary. After the student done with all of this process, most likely they can do the learning process using class, consulting, using lab facility, using library, and other facility that the university has been offer. But how with the online? Actually, most of the university that adapt this kind of system was first implied to be used effective for working people that take some night class, so they can have higher career opportunity for their work. The media they were using mostly is video learning with their lecturer, download some materials and some practice homework, also with exam and etc. So how does the online learning affecting the normal university or college student learning? Because the online learning were actually adapted for the flexibility of the student time rather than focused material like offline learning, somehow our education system was blended in not a good way, or maybe just need more time to be developed before it's actually done and became effective. As I said before, I do like the offline learning system, but if you do try the offline schedule in online learning, actually the output doesn't come like what we expected. Like online learning is mostly used by working people who need education so they could get higher career opportunity. Totally different with offline learning, which there is a real competition between students for exam score. For example, the class schedule is kind of fixed. I mean, like you can force something so fixed into flexible system. We should adapt something too, not just copy paste the offline learning system and then boom, just make it, and then boom, just make it online and pretend everything could be accessed through the internet. No, that was a big oof right there. To me, everything must be developed time to time. To me, everything must be developed time to time. From alpha to beta, beta to pre-release, pre-release to final. Whether it has some bug or something to be fixed until it could be released. So let's talk about the pros and cons here. Offline learning has much more capabilities to get a lot of study for students because they are focused and their schedule is fixed. But it became effective because the system was strict with a lot of human interaction and body language to understand each other's psychological condition. Because it was so strict, the student could become very disciplined at this time. If they want to finish their study, of course, some student also need some interaction with their teacher. Because as we know, there is three types of learner, which is visual, hearing, and kinetic or touch. If there is some doubts or problem in student mind, they could console and solve the problem immediately. And it actually has been like a cultural thing that the human essence of teaching is actually without delay, which the true form of learning is where there is involvement of people sharing and receiving knowledge without delay. And since you were in a strict environment, your mind also turned into more productive because you were pushed to do so, or could go past stress if you were too ignorant with the task, since everyone is on the presence. So the equality is the same because all of the student doesn't have to use internet access, which all of us not have. So what's the drawback of the offline learning system, especially in the pandemic time? First, there is much thing to be prepared for the campus to make sure the students stay safe from the virus, and it also affecting the local community, aka warlock or warga lokal. Especially, we know most of the college student is far from home, that known in Indonesia as anak rantau or wanderer student. So they could choose to rent a dormitory from the local community and rent it for a year or even a couple months. Second thing is there is so much fixed thing like materials, the schedule, the exam, even the homework. Everything has been decided from tip to toe. Third, most of us know the call sign of butterfly student, or even the baddies who always get out till late night even after the class has been done. It's actually some drawback right there, but it's actually one of the part of campus life, but not kind of effective in the pandemic time. But again, it depends on each one personality. The lecturer, well, some of them actually same like most of us, they had problem in life and sometimes need someone to be here. At some point, lecturer was kinda laid back, telling the story of their life or latest thing that has been happened to their student. It's actually good because we need some break, but it kinda waste if you paid your college tuition by yourself and you don't get the materials that you needed. Instead, you get the story of someone that actually you paid for it. The fourth is actually we spend a lot of money just for the accommodation itself, especially for the transportation. For example, the student from the outer city will be most likely rent a dormitory for a couple year or even a couple months, and then they will be spend extra money for their consumption, while the other student pay for the transportation between the city. Just from home to campus to go on the work group, it could spend you like 3 to 4 liters of gasoline just for a day. The 5 is the long duration of subsequently class schedule could ended up into a stressful or bored day. Now let's talk about the online system. The pros of the online system is most of the materials and the education you get is actually accessible 24/7 through university website, media internet, or even PDF books, so it's actually very convenient. Number 2 is there is no need to travel, so you can save more time for transportation. If you pass some class, you could rewatch the whole class by viewing the YouTube or the website. The most important thing is because everything is accessible, well, you can search everything by yourself, including the materials and the thing that you needed in the future exam. But it depends on the university policy about it. Some university will provide the needed material for their student, while some others, they just let the student just go it by yourself. Because we are in the internet era, we need also to increase our literacy and knowledge about the internet. So it's kind of good thing that most of us learn through internet or just make it into a standardization for now, so everyone like know how to access the internet and maximize the output of it. The drawback is, of course, in Indonesia most of us doesn't have the same internet connection. The second most important thing is not every of us have a same media, like laptop for example or phone, this is the drawback of the online learning system. And there is a lot of things that could make you procrastinate more, because the online learning is actually not a face-to-face interaction, which most of the students will behave like they're on their own. So the conclusion is, if we are shifting offline learning into online learning, I will still prefer the online learning because most of the college student is far from their university. Due to new variant of virus, this could be endanger the local community itself, which is we shall push the offline learning system into an online system into a strict system and so fix. We shall be using some flexibility on the system, which is we need more schedule to be flexible in time, and the test will be reconditioned to the student condition, and to be make sure this is for our safety reason. This is for our greater good, because we should understand that the system is need to be fixed, but not suddenly shifting it into something new. There is still some step by step for it. So as I can say, the online system is still need to be fixed. It need to be a recondition, not to be a fully offline system that implied to online learning, but it need to be fully reconditioned so the student could follow up with the learning, and the output of the learning could be maximized, just like the offline learning, but without pushing the student further apart. So that is why I choose the online learning, because it actually can be fixed. It's just not effective as this time. Maybe in the future it will be more good because everything is going to be online. It just need more time to fix and more good. So that's it all I can explain. So what do you think? Online learning or offline learning? Which one do you prefer for this pandemic time? I'm Afif Juniesar from General English Class A. Bye!